Which Spur is our dark horse to have the biggest leap next season? Let's talk about that.
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Spurs right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you back. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great day. Thanks for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. Free and available wherever you get podcasts, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on YouTube. Ken's 5 Plus app. The list goes on and on. There's no excuse for you to not tune into Locked On Spurs. And what are we talking about today? We're going to be discussing our dark horse picks for the players that we expect to have the biggest leap in development next season. I got one. Our guest has a candidate. We'll talk about that. Also, more shade being thrown at Wemby. Hasn't even played a single minute on the NBA court, and he's already getting some hate. And just a quick note, unfortunately, we couldn't do video today. Schedules could not line up, but we got you with audio. We'll be back to video starting hopefully this week. And again, reminder, everybody, Locked On Spurs is scaling back starting this week. So speaking of development, all these guys are going to be developing next season. At least you hope that's the pattern. And there's only one way to go up after being down last season, and that is just going up. You have Sohan becoming a sophomore. As of right now, Tre Jones being the starting point guard heading into next season. So you're going to see a lot of increased minutes, but there's Wemby. Wemby's going to be there now, and, he may take a lot of touches. He's likely going to get a lot of touches heading into the new season, which means you may see production go down from other players. Keldon obviously is not going to be the focal point anymore. It's going to be Wemby. Devin, who many expect to have that rise next season, he may not have a significant rise because of Wemby. Wemby changes everything, but for the better. For Keldon, he won't have to be that main guy, that head of the snake, so to speak, for your Spurs. It's going to be Wemby now. So perhaps that'll benefit him. Tre Jones, perhaps he will benefit because of the space created and his ability to penetrate and get to the lane because of Wemby. The Wemby effect is going to affect everybody's development on the current roster. Even Zach Collins, he's going to have perhaps a different role now as the guy that is going to take all the abuse, kind of like David did for Timmy. You could probably see that for Collins now for Wemby. It's going to be Zach taking on the beast in the middle, not Wemby. And Wemby obviously doesn't play the 5, he plays the 4. But the point is, everybody's development is going to be impacted, some for the better. And I think for the most part, it will be for the better. Some will probably regress statistically, but it won't be any blame on their own because of Wemby. So as much as we're talking about the Wemby effect impacting ticket sales and exposure for this team, and TV games are going to be on national TV next year, there's also just internally as well as this roster gets into shape. And hopefully we'll gel and get that chemistry going quickly so the Spurs can rise back to the NBA top. But as we just mentioned right now, unfortunately, because of scheduling, we couldn't do a video. And also, too, we're at work. So we got to speed this up. So let's go to bring in our guest. He is Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. He is back to kick us off this week. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at Sweep the League. Rudy, welcome back.
Thanks, man. And, unfortunately, I couldn't do video. I can't show off my cap, my 2-1-0 cap that everybody loves. So I think I'm going to give everybody a break on that.
Have more people been reaching out to you about that cap?
A couple more people asked where they could get one.
Nice.
And
it's a nice
I think
one.
I need to make it. I need to make it so I can sell it. So I need to do.
Yeah, or just do your spin on it so you don't get any don't be copying us kind of vibes. Don't be doing that. But he is with Sweep the League. He's going to talk about that and more in just a few minutes. But development. You heard the intro, Rudy. This team, there's nowhere else to go but up considering how down they were. But a lot of fans are expecting certain players to have leaps in their development. Look, there's the obvious, Wemby, we'll see how he develops coming from the, from overseas into the NBA. There's Sohan going from his rookie year to his sophomore year. So those are kind of the obvious. But since you're the guest, you'll go first here. Who is your candidate for the dark horse player to have the biggest jump in development?
So it's going to be kind of an off ball type thing, and it's going to be my dark horse for the season right now is actually Devin Vassell, a guy you probably wouldn't expect anyone to pick. We've seen Devin, really have some good seasons so far, 18 points a game last year. But the reason why I've got him as my dark horse is actually for two reasons. One of them, games played. He only played 38 games last year. He only started 32 games out of that, which he equivalent 31 minutes a game in those games. And that's kind of, like one of those, okay, we really didn't get that extra leap that we were expecting from Devin because he didn't have a whole lot of competition last year. And only playing 38 games is not even half the season. So I would love to see him play more games, see what kind of player he has developed in. But here's the biggest key for me and the reason why he's my dark horse. All the talk of you need a star next to Wemby, you need a superstar next to Wemby. Well, Devin has been portrayed as that guy being the next big Spur. Great two-way player, can develop into their next best two-way player. And I think that's where it makes him a dark horse for me. Can he be that star, necessarily not superstar, but that next, big star for the San Antonio Spurs? Can he take that leap? Because remember, we're not going from rookie year to improvement to he's getting better. You know what, Devin? Now it's got to be you got Victor Wembanyama next to you. You got to go from, okay, you're a star on the team to the next big star on the team. That is a huge leap for him. That's the reason why he's my dark horse.
Yeah, you look at his advanced stats. So we'll look at his per 36 right now. The trend is going in the right direction for him to have that significant leap. Again, of course, the numbers are skewed a bit because he only played 38 games last season. But you look at just from 21-22 to 22-23 season, he went, and this is per 36 minutes, he went from 16.2 points per game per 36 minutes to 21.5 per 36 minutes. So there you go. There's that production. And you look at other stats per 36. The assists shot up dramatically, 2.5 in 21-22 to 22-23 to 4.2. And so you've seen like a little bit of the offense spike, with the minutes given, and of course defensively, for example, in the assist category, as well as in steals, still holding strong, 1.4 21-22, 1.3 22-23. Again, the numbers are skewed a bit because he didn't play a full season, but you like the trend going. Even his 3-point percentage per 36% in 21-22 to 38% in 22-23 before he got injured. And then all in all, you like the trend going. But don't you think those numbers will be impacted because Wemby's going to demand touches?
They could be impacted, but that's the reason why, I'm picking him right now, because even though Wemby's there, he's going to get a lot more touches. That shouldn't really, I think, hurt Devin so much. He should be that second guy on the team. So just averaging, 18 points in those 38 games that he played should still be there. He shouldn't decrease in any type of production at all when it comes to the Spurs. And that's why I've got him at that dark horse, because I want to see him continue to take that leap. Hey, stay at 18. That's what we need you to do. But if you increase it, then you know what? You are that next superstar for the San Antonio Spurs. And him pairing with Wemby makes a lot of sense. They don't have to go out and get a big-time star like a Dame Lillard or someone like that in order to pair with Wemby. They can trust their own process with Devin Vassell.
Yeah, and you look physically too. He's getting bigger. He's been sharing some of the off-season workouts. So far this off-season, you could tell he's added a lot more size to his frame. Obviously, he does have the intangibles such as the dedication, the passion to get W's. We've seen him multiple times get frustrated post-game with losses. So you like that as well. I agree with you. I think he is the Spurs' best two-way player right now. A little bit of defense, a little bit of offense, those intangibles, assists, pass, minimal turnovers. I think that's something that doesn't get reported enough about Devin. 57 turnovers in 38 games played last season, 58 turnovers in the 21-22 season in 71 games played total. So, really, really is good with valuing the basketball there. Also, he's going to want to be part of a larger option. Now, I think he he gets that by default simply because Wemby can't do it by himself. So they're going to be looking to Devin and yes, Keldon as well to shoulder the load. And he's shown that he can shoulder the load when given, just looking at his per 36. Even little things too, you're seeing significant spikes in his development. Again, we're using last year, but we got to put an asterisk. It was 38 games played. You look at his field goal by distance, for example, between 16 feet out to the 3-point line, 42% in 21-22 to 49% last season. So his shot is getting better. His overall play is getting better. Yeah, he definitely is one of the players to watch to have a significant leap next season. But who did I pick to have a significant leap next season? We're going to talk about that and more when we get back right here on Locked On Spurs with Rudy Campos of Sweep the League.
Hello there.
Hey, I want to talk to you about FanDuel. Take your first swing at betting MLB on FanDuel and get 10 times, you heard that right, 10 times your first bet amount in bonus bets up to $200. It's a lot of money. That's right. Just bet $20 and you'll land $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. Check it out. That's $200 you can spend betting from everything from the money line to the over and under to who you think is going to be the first home run. All on an app that's safe, secure, super easy to use. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. I mean, what more can you want? Well, there's no better place to bet on MLB than on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. I go there. I love they're looking at their NBA futures, their projections on the Spurs and Wemby. It's all there. You got to go to FanDuel right now. Sign up today. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOnNBA and get up to $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com/LockedOnNBA. FanDuel, the official partner of Major League Baseball.
Hello there.
And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. Follow him on Twitter at Sweep the League. Beg him to give you his famous cap. Let's see if Rudy will be so generous enough to give either the hat or help create a new hat so Spurs fans can get it. And he'll be talking about Sweep the League shortly. So we're talking about who do we expect to have big leaps next season? Who are our dark horse candidates? Well, Rudy picked Devin Vassell. I am going with Malachi Branham. Yeah, I think I'm expecting some big things out of him. All attention is on guys like Devin and Sohan and Wemby to really make an impact. But I think lurking in the shadows is Malachi Branham. He's going into his sophomore season. Looked like a man among boys in the summer league. Really was showing out. And in 66 games played in his rookie season, 10.2 points per game, 2.7 rebounds, 2 assists per game, 30% from the 3 line, 44% from the field. Now, obviously, we only have the sample size of his rookie year, but he's been known as, he's been labeled as kind of a 3-level scorer. We're seeing that. Get to the free throw line, hit the 3-shot, hit the mid-range shot. And you look at just, he's going to get the bump in minutes. So again, using per 36 minutes last season as a kind of a guide here. If given the minutes, he plays 15.6 points per game, Rudy, 4.2 rebounds, 2.9 assists, and about 30% from the 3 line and 44% from the field overall. Even his free throw shooting gets better per 36 at 83%. So I think his ability, his size, and just for him to be a 3-level scorer is really going to be utilized more, especially with Wemby here. So if Wemby has a threat of Malachi out on the perimeter who can score the 3, get in the mid-range, get to the lane, get fouled, go to the free throw line, I think that's going to help. I see Malachi as the dark horse candidate to have a big leap. What are your thoughts?
I can really agree with you on Malachi Branham. Had a tremendous offseason when it came to playing summer league ball. Showed what he could do. I think he only had like one bad game out of every game that he played. Really can shoot the ball, can score. Expecting them to do a little bit more this season with the Spurs. But, the one thing that I see with Malachi is that as much as I really believe that he's going to be that first guy off the bench, the sixth man, it's going to take a little bit of time. Pop is so
Mhm.
used to playing veterans, especially with a younger starting five. You're going to probably see like Reggie Bullock being ahead of Malachi just for the beginning of the season. So the dark horse port for Malachi Branham, I think we'll give it about a month and a half, and you're going to see him get his minutes really, really increased. I think he's got that kind of potential. He's got the potential to be the sixth man, like I said before, and it's no joke. The guy should have been a lottery pick,
Mhm.
100%, but he fell to the Spurs, in the late part of the first round. Blessing for the San Antonio Spurs. I love that pick by a dark horse for you, Jeff.
Yeah, I think you look at what he did, especially in Vegas. Really looked like he was a lot more aggressive. Again, just looking at the intangibles, really looked aggressive out there. Really looked like he wanted the ball and he wanted to do some damage. Let's take a look at those summer league stats here. So you look at some of them. He was the second leading scorer for the summer Spurs, 17.3 points per game. Oh,
Mm,
it gets even better. He was among the top 5 assist guys on the summer Spurs, 2.7 assists per game. And when it comes to steals, he ranked third with about a steal a game. And minutes played, this should give you the biggest sign that the Spurs are gonna be looking a lot from him. He was averaging the most minutes among the summer Spurs at 30.1 per game. And then overall, in 3 games, just was impressive. 17.3 points per game, shot about 36%, 48% from the three line, and
mm,
about 3 assists per game and a steal. So I go a quick, sure, it was summer league level, and we get that. But there are just so many signs here that point to Malachi kind of being flying under the radar right now as a kind of a secret weapon the Spurs might have, to pair with Wemby and of course everybody else too. But I do agree with you. I think he's likely going to see himself in a bench role. You can pretty much say the starting five is close to being set. The only thing is Keldon or Devin or whoever is going to be a six man. But
mm.
I got Malachi. I got Malachi. I really, really do. I don't think he's going to be going to Austin Spurs at all. I
No,
think they're really going to give
no.
him a nice chunk of minutes. Yeah, yeah. Your thoughts, Rudy?
Yeah, no, he's definitely not going to be in Austin. I mean, if it is, it's one of those like baseball terms where he's kind of being rehabbed a little bit from injury or
Yeah.
something. But I definitely do not see him in Austin. What people got to realize too is that, we can all say, well, he had a great summer season and in Vegas, and maybe people are saying, well, it's, against lesser competition. I call BS completely on that. You're talking about a kid who came in towards the end of last year, had a 20-point game, had a 14-point game. He was putting up some really good numbers towards the end of the year. He solidified himself as one of those rotational guys coming into this season. So there's no doubt about it that Malachi is definitely a dark horse candidate. And I really expect him to take a lot of leaps and bounds.
Hmm.
I'm just kind of looking at that whole thing like they brought in 3 veterans,
Right. Yeah.
for with Osman, Bullock, and Cameron Payne. How does that affect Malachi's minutes? Like I said, I think in the beginning of the season it affects it a little bit, but who knows? Pop has done some crazier things before, so maybe Malachi will get run as a six man.
Yeah. Here's the thing too: the Spurs still need to trim the roster. So perhaps some of
Mm-hmm.
those people that you mentioned may not be on the Spurs roster, pave the way for Malachi to get minutes. But we'll see. The offseason is still young. We're in the thick of things right now. It's a slow period. But that is something to watch heading into next season. Hey, those are our picks for our dark horse candidates. Do you agree with Rudy? That's Devin. Do you agree with me that it's Malachi, or is it somebody else? Let Rudy know on Twitter at Sweep the League. You can let me know on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. When we get back, more Wemby haters are coming out. Another one. This time a player. We'll talk about that and more right here on Locked On Spurs. But before we do all that, I love going to Mudslingers drive-through coffee. I know Rudy does. I think all of San Antonio does. Look, they're a proud local sponsor of Locked On Spurs. Over 300 5-star reviews cannot be wrong. They're open every day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And what do they got there? They got a lot. Dairy alternatives, caffeine-free drinks if you want to take it easy, lattes, coffee, their signature drink, the Mudslinger, dark chocolate, has espresso, steamed milk. It's really delicious. And it's located near 281 and 1604. So Get out there. Go right now. Look, we're talking about Wemby. Try the Alien. That's their Wemby-inspired drink. It's a full can of Red Bull plus green apple and kiwi. It tastes delicious. But if you want to take it easy, not a lot of caffeine, then get yourself the OG OJ. That is just bringing back the vibes of the old school Orange Julius. They recreated it only at Mudslingers. That is a big, big hit. Look, they're everywhere. You can check them out on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Threads at Mudslingers STX. They are located at 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. Go there right now. Open every day, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. They have a friendly staff. They even have donuts. You can pick up a little snack too. They have it all. Again, lattes, the Alien, OJ. You want to go to Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee right now. Why? Because life is too short for bland coffee. Let's going to continue our chat with Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. And Rudy, more doubters are coming out about Wembanyama. Here's another. So first we had Tim Hardaway with that ridiculous thing saying that Bol was a better player than him. All right. Then you had Odin Polynice come out and say that his ceiling is Sean Bradley and he ain't going to do much in the league. Then you had even Tracy McGrady, a former Spurs, saying there's just too much hype. There's just too much hype without this kid. Now add another one to the pile. Pelicans Murphy III. Yes, him. He came out and speaking with a former Spur, Richard Jefferson, on Road Tripping Podcast, and they were asked, they were talking about the Rookie of the Year and who are their candidates. Murphy said, Rudy, brace yourself, that he has Chet Holmgren winning the Roy Award. And you could say, okay, fine, that's legit. That possibly could happen. But when digging deeper, Rudy, he said, because he has more grunt. He has more grit to him. That basically Wemby is soft and Chet isn't. I'm dumbfounded here, Rudy. I don't know where to begin with this.
Man, it's kind of what's being whispered. It's kind of being what's whispered, loudly across the league, and it's of course it has to do with strength. When we saw Wemby get pushed around, even when he went off for the second summer league game and went off and scored 29 points, he was still pushed around some, and I get that. A lot of people are calling him soft, but again, it goes back to what you and I talked about before. There's not a lot of game film. A lot of these guys didn't really see him. He wasn't in college in the States. He didn't play high school ball in the States. Very limited. The only reason why he got hyped was because it was through the media and a lot of people that were, scouts looking at him. And obviously when you're 7'3", 7'4", 7'5", whatever, you're going to get looked at no matter what. I mean, George Mirasan was looked at for being 7'8". I mean, it's going to happen. You're going to get looked at. So I can understand where these players are coming from. And I really see where some of their concerns are. I've expressed them before, but at the same time, you got to give him the chance to play the game. Yeah. Saying Chet Holmgren is a Rookie of the Year, I'm not going to lie to you, he is the favorite to be Rookie of the Year. There's no doubt about it. No matter if Wemby drafted number one, he's the most hyped player coming in, generation talent, whatever. Chet Holmgren is actually the favorite for Rookie of the Year. I understand why. And like I told you, it's going to come down to this. Wemby's going to have way better stats, obviously, to get that Rookie of the Year. But if they're equal in stats and just going back and forth, I think it's going to come down to winning percentage. I think it's going to come down, hey, if the Oklahoma City make the playoffs and Wemby and Chet have the exact same stats, that's going to put him over the edge to get Rookie of the Year. Outside of that, if neither one make the playoffs or even the play-in game, I mean, you might see a tie for Rookie of the Year, or actually Wemby might get it. But I don't have a problem with saying Chet's the favorite going in, but will he be Rookie of the Year? He's got to stay healthy. That's the other thing.
Yeah, I'm still going with Wemby to get the award. Vegas right now has him as the favorite, with Chet close behind. And look, if Chet wins it and he plays out, and okay, fine, he showed out and maybe did better than Wemby. Okay, good. But as you mentioned, give Wemby a chance to play, and also too give Chet a chance to play, because didn't he miss an entire NBA regular season? So let's let the kids get out there on the court and duke it out, put their best foot forward. Also, too, talk about grit and that this whole thing. That's why Murphy's picking him. Holmgren over Wemby. And last I checked, isn't BYU not in a Power 10 conference? Rudy?
They're in the mountain. Yeah, no. I don't think it's Power.
No. So they don't play against top quality competition, do they? Like, Tobacco Row or anything like that. Uh, Wemby played in the French league where he was playing against grown men, not college kids, like Chet did. Now, look, pound for pound,
Well,
it's going to be a great fight. I think they're going to be good battles. I think
yeah.
that could possibly be one of the budding rivalries we'll see beginning next season. But if we look at skill set wise, Wemby's taller with a longer wingspan. Chet was a number 2 pick. Wemby obviously was number 1. So he has a height advantage. You also look at their skills. Wemby can dribble, but Chet can shoot.
Mhm.
Wemby has more range. He can knock down the 3. Uh, you, dribbling, you give the edge to Wemby. Shooting, you give the edge to Chet. I think this is going to be these are going to be great matchups to see next year. And they already played each other in Team USA and Team France earlier in their career. I mean, they were still teenagers. And I think Wemby had the best of him. So, yeah,
Yeah.
Mr.
It's
Murphy, I think you need to pump the brakes there. But, I think at this point, you got to let the kids play, right?
Yeah, you got to let them play. And before, I don't want you to get dragged through the mud, man. It wasn't BYU. Chet actually played for Gonzaga, so it's a
Oh, sorry,
it's
Gonzaga.
a
Thank you.
powerhouse
I'm sorry.
basketball. Yeah,
I'm sorry,
no,
Gonzaga.
it's
My
a
mistake.
powerhouse basketball school, and obviously Gonzaga's made a lot of noise in college basketball, Final Fours, and
Yeah.
championship games. But the thing with you're right. You got to let them play it out. And
Mm-hmm.
where you and I differ, and I know fans are, Locked On Spurs fans are always, at me and you on this stuff, but where you say, Chet may be Wemby may be the better shooter. I may feel Chet might be. I may feel Wemby's better at this. He may feel Chet better. It's going to be a back and forth battle. It's going to remind me,
Mm-hmm.
of the rookie years of like Magic against Bird and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
mean, you're going to have two players going back and forth, and not to take anything away from Scoot Henderson or anyone like that,
Mm-hmm.
but it's going to be either one of these guys' award to lose. So it's going to be a good battle. I get where a lot of people say, like I said, Wemby hasn't proven anything. You know what? I will go in with that with him and say, okay, he hasn't proven anything here, but why don't you give him the opportunity before bashing the guy? Try to
Well,
let
the
him
same thing
prove it first.
with that same thing could be said for Chet. He hasn't played a
Exactly.
regular season NBA. It goes for both of them. So, um, I think we're at this point now. And look, you're right. The race for the Roy is going to be awesome. Yeah, there's Chet, there's Wemby, then there's Brandon Miller, and then there's Scoot Henderson. You ain't going to say
Mm.
they're going to have their say as well to get that nod. Would you be surprised if Scoot wins it? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
No,
I
I
mean,
would.
I might be a little surprised if Brandon Miller gets it, just a little bit. But
I'd be very
yeah,
surprised.
yeah. But if Chet wins it, okay. If Wemby wins it, sure. If Scoot wins it, great. I think it's just going to be a great competition for that award. I think there's another rookie you have, right? That you like, that you thought the Spurs would get if they, for some reason, they fell out of the number 1 pick. I forgot who
Yeah,
it was. Who was it again?
it was well, actually, if the Spurs didn't fall in number one, I really like Taylor Hendricks out of UCF.
Yeah.
Big guy. I mean, really, really great player. He would have been magnificent right next to Zach Collins and Jeremy
Mhm.
Sohan. He's gonna be one of those guys to look out for. He's probably not gonna have a massive rookie year, but he's gonna have a decent rookie year. But it's gonna, as long as his career goes on, he's gonna improve and improve and improve. The only thing that I said that my dark horse for rookie of the year was Casey Wallace, point guard. I
Mhm.
think he's with Oklahoma City too. So it's like, I think he's not going to get a fair shot with, Gilchrist Alexander there and a couple other guys, but he's another guy to look out. But for sure, it's going to be rookie of the year. It's going to be between Chet and Wemby, no doubt about it.
Speaking of OKC, they had a pretty good year last year, even without
Hmm.
Chet. So you figure with Chet, perhaps them getting into the playoffs, like getting number 6, for example, you hope that won't hurt Wemby's chances. It shouldn't. It should be an individual award, but we know
Hmm.
that these voters look beyond that sometimes, and they look, oh, look what Chet did. He got the team into the playoffs, and look at Wemby. They're in the play-in. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Come on. That's where we got to have those development. Come on, Malachi. Come on, Devin. Get your game
Well,
up. Do it. Yeah. Go ahead.
in Chet's well, not defense, but We'll be real. Victor is the number one option on the Spurs. We can honestly say that. Chet is probably number 3 or 4 on that team. I mean, behind SGA, Josh Giddey, and some would say behind Jalen Williams as well. So
interesting.
Maybe they make the playoffs, great, but his stats may not reflect, the reason for getting the award.
Yeah. He is Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. Follow him on Twitter at Sweep the League. I was recently on his show, so check that out. Rudy, tell us more about what you got going.
Yeah, we're releasing episodes weekly. You can get them wherever podcasts are available. Like Jeff mentioned, him and I were on an episode of Sweep the League together. We did a spotlight edition talking, of course, Spurs. We're not locking in on anything else other than Spurs when we talked to Jeff Garcia. Introduced his new intro song. If you're curious of what it is, you can go listen to it. And also, we just released another spotlight episode. Rain Fernandez, a talented musician from San Antonio, about to record her basically huge video with DJ Khaled behind there. Nice. That's going to be that's going to be massive. So sure, check out that interview. Also, she's giving away an autographed Sweep the League shirt. So one lucky fan is going to be getting a nice little autograph from Rain.
Yeah, and also too, if I were you, everyone, keep an eye on Rudy's future. That's all I'm going to say. Just keep an eye on it.
Yeah. Something's brewing.
Something's brewing. Yeah. He is Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. And we thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. Free and available where we get podcasts. Once again, a reminder, Locked On Spurs is going into its hiatus-ish. It won't be every single day, 2 to 3 a week. This is your first one for the week. So hopefully we'll be back tomorrow. If not, Wednesday, you'll know. But for Rudy Campos, I am Jeff Garcia. And by the way, make sure to follow Locked On Spurs on YouTube, Ken's 5 Plus app, iTunes, Stitcher, pick a platform. We are there. You guys are the everydayers. So for Rudy Campos, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.